When I went blind, I didn't have any experience of blindness. I didn't know any blind people, and it's really important to me to get out there and show everybody what blind people can do, because when I went blind, I thought my life had ended, but little did I realise it had only just begun. I've got a quote on my desk by Helen Keller that says, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing." Going blind has certainly moved me out of my comfort zone, and as a result, I have gone on to live this abundant life. I'm that blind woman, Julie Woods, and I live in Otipoti, Dunedin. I would describe myself as a 57-year-old blind woman. A taxi driver would call me stone blind. I describe myself as totally blind. It's like looking through a frosted mirror in the bathroom when the lights are turned off. I can't see past it. A lot of people think that it's black, but in the daylight, it's white, like thick fog. I see the world through my other senses, learning to receive information through my ears, nose, mouth and toes. The most important thing for me is to focus on what I can do and not what I can't. When I was 18, I had become partially sighted due to juvenile macular degeneration. In 1997, inflammation of the retina took most of my useful vision. Then in 2008, I became totally blind due to uveitis, which is inflammation at the front of the eye. So there's a combination of factors there that have led me to become totally blind. Just looking for the tactile warning indicators, which are the bumpy things that come at the end of the footpath and let you know that you are going from a footpath onto the road where there are cars. But they're not here, so that can be really dangerous for a blind person. Have you ever watched Roadrunner? Splat. In 1997, I was at the Foundation for the Blind, and the recreation advisor came up to me. She said to me, "Julie, we're taking a group of blind people away cross-country skiing. Would you like to come?" And I thought, wow, that sounds really dangerous. I was married with 2 boys, aged 3 and 1. I felt powerless, overwhelmed, and I had no idea of how I was going to cope. I politely declined and then went home that night and sat on my couch and thought, you stupid person, what kind of blind person are you going to make if you turn down opportunities that come your way? I decided at that moment, if anyone asked me to do anything, I wouldn't say no, I would say why not. I would try it once. If I didn't like it, I didn't have to do it again.
Right, here we are.
I would describe my home with my husband, Ron, as a happy one. Ron, what would you like to drink?
Coffee, please.
Coffee, okay. We live in an apartment block. It is very accessible. It's very easy to navigate my way around. Listen to the sound of the water. Ron, he was my case manager at Workbridge. Ron, here's your coffee.
Thank you.
We just connected because when I went blind, things got very serious, and he was fun.
You want to do the quiz?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. OK. Let's see how good you are this morning. They used to say that I had a very favourite client. The thing about Julie's disability, such as it is that, oddly enough, she's a woman of vision. I never even see her as being blind. What's the name of the road that winds through the Dunedin Botanic Garden and past the Northern Cemetery?
Lovelock Ave.
Well done. We just get along very well. I don't know how we avoid one another in a hallway, but we seem to be able to manage all right.
These tools are for writing Braille. This first one is a Braille slate and stylus. You put the card in and shall we write Craig's name in Braille? You use these holes to guide you to punch the correct dots. And because we're punching through to the other side, we have to write backwards. Oh, that's always a challenge. I said, why not, to Do You Want to Learn Braille in 2001 when I became a single blind parent. My husband left our family on the 15th of June 2001, and on the 30th of June 2001, I enrolled to learn Braille. I fell in love with it because I hadn't been able to read for 4 years. Yeah, pull it out, turn it over, and there is Craig. This is a Perkins Brailler, and the keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, represent the 6 dots in the Braille cell. Let's do another name. If we put it in here, we put the card in, we will write attitude. Here we are. A-T-T-I-T-U-D-E, attitude. I fell in love with it, and not only the code, but I also fell in love with Louis Braille, the little French boy who at the age of 3 crept into his father's workshop and had an accident with a sharp tool and went on to give us the code that now bears his name. On 27th of March 2017, I set a goal to write 1 million names in Braille.
Today we are at St Clair Beach in Dunedin. I'm with Margaret, and we are going to be writing names for people as they walk past.
There we are. There's a set right there. Yep, right there.
And Margaret will be making the approach to people, won't you?
I will. I'll be approaching people. Hi there. I'm with Julie Woods, who's... You know Julie?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. It's great fun. You meet lots of different people from all walks of life. Michael. You hang on, Michael. We'll do your name for you. Michael. Michael's shy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Well done, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Margaret is one of the volunteer Braille producers for 2 or 3 years now.
3 more.
3 more.
Yep, Maria. And her little toddler in the pushchair, Paul.
Maria. Oh,
Thank you.
you.
Come here and have a nice day. She's got a goal to Braille 1 million names. And so you'd be 1 in a million. Okay.
One of the things I love about 1 million names in Braille is the connections that I make with people, and that gets a blind person in front of them and might be able to defy some stereotypes, and that for me is really important.
I'm not sure I've got enough years left to get to 1 million. I think we've got to about 125,000 now, and I don't care where we get to as long as we just keep doing it.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
You're out walking the dog?
Yeah.
Or is the dog walking you?
The dog's walking.
Yeah,
Well done.
that was great.
How many names did we get?
24. 24,
Yep.
yes.
And
That's
we
a-
got 3 dogs.
That's correct.
People from different places.
Different places, yes. We had Germany and Canada, as well as some New Zealanders.
And Mosgiel.
And Moscow.
No, it was lovely.
Very good.
Yeah.
The goal to walk every street in Dunedin we set in 2019.
Good morning.
We wanted to do something different, and I said to Jo, do you want to walk every street in Dunedin? And she said, why not? Over the course of 3.5 years, we walked 1,003 streets around 44 Dunedin suburbs. Today we are going to walk up the world's steepest street, Baldwin Street. We're tethered together. We have a rope, and it means I follow her body.
We sort of think of like a bungee cord, so it relaxes when you're in sync. But the other thing too is if Ju wants to stop, she gives it a shake. So it's sort of like that intuitive thing between the two of us, and it gives Ju some more freedom as well, rather than holding onto my arm. Ju's, one of my best friends, so we just like spending time together.
Jo and I have known each other for nearly 30 years.
She was there through me going blind, and she stayed with me and gave me the support that I needed. So walking up Baldwin Street, which is the world's steepest street, you do feel that with your feet, so your touch is very important. You can tell with your feet when you get to the top because it sort of totally flattens out.
There you go, we're here. Touch the wall.
I love setting goals and going after them. Gets you out of bed in the morning and it creates a challenge, which is fun.
And that has seen us set this goal of walking Greater Dunedin, one street at a time.
Right.
Yep, I'll hang the bag up.
Okay.
All right, I'll sit here
Okay.
and you can start painting. It's great sharing this space with Ron because we've both been creative together.
Julie has accumulated an enormous knowledge of art, believe it or not, and you can ask her all sorts of questions about art.
People think it's unusual that a blind woman would be with a sighted artist, but he'll paint a picture with his words, which, as you can imagine, is very helpful for a blind woman.
I'm just doing a bit of a seascape. Has a sort of an enormous cloud coming down onto the land. Julie loves travelling, and so do I.
I think probably the biggest thing we did to start with was travel to Paris in 2009 for Louis Braille's 200th birthday. We came home through Egypt and Jordan, and we visited Petra in Jordan and realised that was one of the wonders of the world. When we came back, we decided to set ourselves a goal of visiting the 7 wonders of the world.
And this was a dream. How do you make a dream come true? Well, you get on and you do it.
And that took us to the Great Wall in China, the Colosseum in Rome, Taj Mahal in India, Christ the Redeemer in Brazil, Machu Picchu in Peru, and then Chichen Itza in Mexico. And we were keen to share our experience with others. So we have collaborated on a book called Wanderlust, a true life fairy tale of Julie, Jane and Ronald visiting the 7 wonders of the world. I hope that people will get to see that you don't have to be able to see with your eyes to be able to travel, that you can see the world through your other senses. And I hope that that will inspire people to go and travel themselves and experience the world in a different way.
Joe Stoddard. Read, Margaret via messenger. Margaret Jackson #level send you a message. From Poland, Eden Street, Fairfield. Black, dead. Link Outlook for Android.
I use JAWS software, which is a screen reading software, and I'm able to touch type using the QWERTY keyboard and it will speak back to me. I use the keyboard to navigate around the iPhone. It means that I am able to touch type and enter text into the phone, and it's connected by Bluetooth. It's wonderful because I can type a lot quicker using a keyboard than I can using the screen. The voice prompts tell me where I am on the phone and on the screen, and I use the voice to help me navigate around the different apps that are on the phone.
Photos, messages, active, messenger, active. Message seen.
There is misconception around Braille, and the most common one is that Braille is dying. In the old days, when you had big cumbersome books that you had to carry around, it was a lot a lot more difficult to access Braille and things had to be transcribed. But nowadays we have access to digital Braille. This is an Orbit Braille reader and writer. It's a portable device. It has metal pins that pop up and I'm able to follow the Braille along with my finger. Basically, we can access any information that's available on the internet. And I believe that that will ensure the future of Braille. Wonder 1. Sunday, the 18th of January, 2009. Petra in Jordan. I'm currently reading from my sensory diaries from the 7 days at the 7 Wonders. Because I can't see, I receive information through my ears, nose, mouth and toes. Smell. The apple I gave the horse after it carried us through the gap in the rock. Yeah, looking back at my sensory diaries, it brings everything back to life. Here, our guide, Jessup, saying, there are not enough camels in the world for this woman.
One of the wonderful things about being married to a blind person is that you are kind of permanently attached to one another. And frankly, I don't find that in any way debilitating.
Okay, we want some oranges, apples, and some salad. Well, it's really important to come to the same supermarket because I get to know where everything is in the aisles.
It can be quite overwhelming with the sounds and the smells and, of course, the unidentifiable products. Not many products in the supermarket have Braille labels on them.
She is absolutely amazing. She has a tremendous memory. And for a guy like me who forgets everything, it's a wonderful asset.
To the right, honey.
Okay.
Ron is a great help when we go around the supermarket, although sometimes he can give too much help.
That one's not bad.
I've got one, honey.
Okay.
Thank
You'd
you.
like to pass it to me?
He's not cheeky. He doesn't hide things in the trolley at all, actually. He knows ultimately you can't sneak anything past a blinded person.
Right, lettuce. What have we got?
Yeah, have a look at that.
That's great.
Using your sense of touch is very helpful when identifying vegetables. The smell of the herbs like the basil and the coriander,
Yum.
they're just so tempting, like the cooked chicken. It's very difficult to walk past a cooked chicken if you're hungry and the smell of chicken comes out to greet you.
Well done. Yeah, I couldn't do it if it wasn't for you. Okay.
Thank you.
I like to put away the groceries myself because then I know where things are going, and because I'm responsible for the cooking, I need to be able to find them, to retrieve them. And everything has its place. It's either in the pantry or in the fridge, and then I remember where they all are. One of the things I've done to make the kitchen more accessible is to put Braille labels on my containers so that I can tell the difference between the sugar and the brown sugar. I like cooking. I call it cooking without looking. When I'm cutting, I use my left hand index finger as a guide, and I use a short knife so that I'm closer to what I'm cutting. But you just have to be careful.
Well, Julie is a good cook. So Ron keeps out of the kitchen and Julie makes sure that she's got complete control.
Today we are going to have fresh salad with basil and chicken and roll. Okay, dinner is ready.
Great. Cheers.
Cheers. Is that mine?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Today I am starting a new goal of walking Greater Dunedin one street at a time. I guess we're going out into roads that are more rural and can have cars that might be travelling faster. I always say when we're walking every street in Dunedin that every step is like a foreign country because I've never been on it before. Okay, what are the options?
Well, we're Strawberry Lane now, which looks like a really sort of short street. So then if we can do this, and then we've got Blanket Bay and Brick Hill to do as well. Okay.
Shall we do it?
Let's do it. Right, off we go.
Let's go.
It's a really great opportunity when we're walking for us to be visible. I think people don't think that blind people walk much or get out much. So for them to be able to see us is really cool. Greater Dunedin is more rural and there are different sounds and smells and it's just fresh air and quiet often as well. So the contrast is great.
The street project, there were 1,003 streets, walking all those with a companion at the same time. It's just been great fun. We've become a real unit, the three of us.
It's a stunning view through here, is it? Yeah, absolutely.
I've always wanted to be a reference point for people when they go blind. If Julie can do it, then I can do it.
What I wish people knew about blindness is that it's not the end of your life. It's the beginning of another life. I'm very proud of her. I think she's a remarkable woman. I can't believe my luck in ending up as her husband.
The future for me is about continuing my dream to write 1 million names in Braille. It's about completing my goal to walk Greater Dunedin one street at a time.
Are you ready?
It sounds a bit odd, but if I died tomorrow, I would do so happy because I would do so knowing that I'd done everything I could, that I took up the challenge of going blind and then went on to do some amazing things.